I know exactly why so many of you are not making money in your NEMT business. I've always known, but the words have come to me like an epiphany, and I'm about to share them with you. If you can't handle the hard truth, don't watch this video. In fact, realistically, before you're even thinking about watching this video, you might want to unsubscribe from my newsletter altogether, because I don't know if you can handle all this truth. Hello everyone, this is Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group, and YouAreTheBroker.com, helping you to build a highly effective and highly profitable broker business. As many of you know, our big drama that we had going on over these last couple days was the potential contract with UPRR, United Pacific Railroad. And to give you some quick context, some backdrop, for those of you who haven't been following it as closely, UPRR, they contacted us. They solicited us a couple months back. They wanted to partner with UMTPG. They got huge contracts coming up. All of it looks great. We jump on board. You know, we're excited about the prospects because we obviously have member providers associated with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group all over the country. So we're thinking it's a win-win situation. Awesome. So long story short, we sent over our list of active members. A lot of our active members, not all, because some of them weren't interested in it, that's fine. A lot of our active members went on our website, umtpg.org, shared all their information, all the profiles, details about vehicles, employees, etc., how they do dispatch, all that stuff. We sent it over to UPRR, everything's great. But now, last couple of days, when push comes to shove, and they launched their RFP, all of a sudden everything goes haywire. So long story short, what happened was, and many of you know this because you tried logging in with the credentials they gave us for our providers, essentially we overwhelmed them. They legitimately were not anticipating, as Monica specifically said, from Monica from the Union Pacific said, we don't have the staff to handle all these suppliers. So we literally overwhelmed them. So that's great. I mean, in a good way, it's great. In a bad way, it's not so great because now we were kind of stuck in a quagmire. They couldn't handle the capacity. So hopefully some of you have read the newsletter I just put out late last night. Yesterday was somewhat of a debacle because I literally wasted more brain cells than I really wanted to in having multiple conference calls, email exchanges with UP, trying to resolve all this. And I had this epiphany. You know, all this, we're getting all these emails from all these providers who are active members, a lot of them who are not members, who wanted to get involved, and it's too late in the game at that point in time. I can't help it. You know, you wait till the last minute, it is what it is, man, you miss out. Anyways, I had an epiphany, and I had this epiphany late last night, and the reason why is because our first conference call, I had to call in at 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Central Time, and the conference call had all these other attendees. The attendees, if some of you, if you read the newsletter from a few days ago, where I shared a list of some of the people, some of the companies who were represented, who were bidding on some of these contracts, everything from the Ubers and the Lyft and everything. So they were all on this conference call, and I ditched the call. I was on the call for, I lasted about 45 minutes, and then my brain couldn't take it anymore. I had to ditch the call. Absolute waste of my time. And here's what it was. It was a classic example of an entity. And again, let me preface everything. I'm not against this opportunity because some of our member providers will still have an opportunity to go after some of this work, even if they're serving as the subcontractor for a prime contractor for this UP contract. So trust me, there's a lot of money making opportunity. I'm not disavowing it. But this conference call that had all these reps on here from these other companies, the Uber, Lyft, and all this other stuff, I didn't even contribute. I just listened. And then I had to ditch the call after 45 minutes because it was just dictate after dictate after dictate after dictate of you got to do this, you got to do that, here's how you do it, go to number 1, go to step 2, go to step 3, don't go to step 5 until you cross step 4. It was so dictatorial that, again, I ditched it after 45 minutes, especially here in so many of the other slap. I almost swore, I almost said D-I-C-K, but I didn't. I didn't cuss. I got a 3-year-old daughter. I got an 18-month boy. I spell now. So hearing all these other slap D-I-C-K S's on there, pontificating, I had to ditch the call. I couldn't deal with it anymore. But I realized that, and I knew this before, but now I'm just willing to put it out there because yesterday I wasted too many brain cells on this nonsense. At the end of the day, listen to all these yahoos pontificate and willing to jump through all these hoops. Man, it's just like so many people, who are in the NEMT business, all they do is go after the contracted work, whether it's a Medicaid broker, a Medi-Cal or some other big bureaucratic nonsense. Look, all that does is make you a bitch. I didn't swear. I did not cuss. All it does is make you a bitch. Now, I know some of you may not like the way I'm putting this. I know I might be very insensitive because I'm coming at you harsh with this, but it's the truth. And here's the problem with so many of you. So many of you are willing to be a bitch because you want to go after the guaranteed work, the low-hanging fruit. Let me tell you what it makes you in addition to being a bitch. I'm still not cussing. So don't waste your time with the hate mail because I'm not cussing, I'm spelling. But when you do all that and you go after all that low-hanging fruit and you're willing to jump through all those hoops, you're like the rat in the little rat wheel and you're the mouse that follows through the rat, the little holes at the right time to get the cheese. You lack creativity. Bottom line. So at this point in time, if you've gotten this far and you haven't unsubscribed or deleted, you can stop now, you can unsubscribe. I know some of you are going to do it because some of you guys can't take the hard truth. Some of y'all are snowflakes. I get that. Some of you are snowflakes. I know some of you don't want to be a part of like the UMTPG or what we're doing. That's cool. I get it, man. I mean this as respectfully as I can. I really don't care. Because there's so many of you who I absolutely love working with. Let me sidetrack real quick. So what happened was over this last couple of days with this UPRR contract, we get so many people who will send us emails, send me information about this contract. Or what can this contract do for me? Or if I become a member for $47 a month, is this a guaranteed contract? No. All we do is we delete those. We delete those emails because you've missed the boat, and honestly, I don't care. Again, I know some of you you didn't delete me before, you didn't stop watching. Now's a good time. You could probably stop watching now or unsubscribe at this point. But here's the deal, man. I get it. I'm short-handed. I need to hire more staff between my consulting business, my software company, everything I'm doing with my broker business, which is freaking huge. I need more people. I get that. I know that because sometimes we're slow to respond. Sometimes we're slow to answer the phone. I get that. I'm short-handed just like you're probably short-handed, and you know as well as I do, it's hard finding good help. I got a great group of people, man, and it's hard. So that's why when they wait till the last minute, we are not going to waste the effort and the brain cells to help you, and your lack of preparation does not constitute our emergency. We're not going to just jump overboard and fall over all over ourselves to help you, especially because I could care less about your $47 a month. I don't even make money on it. By the time I pay my staff and resources and mailings and everything we do, dude, I don't care. That's just a little side note, my own little rant, because we got so many emails over the last 2 or 3 days from people who send me information. You're not an active member. Crickets. Dude, we're not going to waste our time with you. I apologize. You need to go to the conventions. You need to go to the NEMT conventions that they have like in San Diego, maybe like in Orlando. Vegas is always a hot spot. Go to the conventions. In fact, before you even go to the conventions, go on the websites for all these NEMT and transportation conventions they got. Go look at all the sponsors. I challenge you, go look at all the sponsors. You're going to see Uber on there, Lyft, MTM, Logisticare. All that is institution. That's why whatever those other organizations are in those conventions, if you're a convention guy, convention girl, go. You don't want to be part of the UMTPG. You need to go to those, network with the institutions, so that way you get programmed in there. You don't need to be creative. See, here's the problem with creativity. Creativity requires you to actually think outside the box and do something people don't want to do, work. Creativity makes you do work. It makes you think outside the box, and then you have to act upon your creative thoughts. People don't want to work. They'd rather go after the low-hanging fruit. That, you know, I've said it a million times, I'm gonna keep saying it, man. You go hook up with your brokers, your Medicaid brokers, your MTM, your logistic care, you know, and they're sharecropping you. They are absolutely sharecropping you, and so many people are just willing to accept it. They tell you, they dictate what they do. They tell you exactly what to do, where to do it, how to do it. And yes, massa, yes, massa. And so many you'll just take it. Yes, okay, yes, massa. And they're robbing you blind, and you allow it to happen because you don't want to be creative. You don't want to invest in work. You don't want to build your own business model. You want to pursue the low-hanging fruit. Okay, I've given you guys, those of you who are still watching, are you crazy? Now was a good time. You could have left. Okay, you want more? All right, I'm going to tell you more. Here's the thing. You'll hook up with these brokers, and you just get caught in that little rat wheel. You don't have the creativity. You don't want to invest in work. We need to talk about that. For those of you who are going to be joining me in October at the roundtable gathering, you make sure you remind me about this topic, because we are going to talk about creativity in detail. Because here's the deal. Do you want money? I'm going to teach you how to make money. And the way you're going to make money is by being creative and building your own business with your own brand that connects to your community. Think about this. Do you think that these sharecroppers, for example, when I was on the call yesterday with UP, and again, I'm just picking on them as an example. I'm trying to kind of equating them with Medicaid brokers. They're not exactly the same, but listening to that stupid conference call yesterday that I ditched on after 45 minutes kind of made me think about the brokers. But you take Logistic Care, MTM, Southeast Trans, Access to Care, any one of them, okay? Do you really think that those guys have actually gone out there and owned an NEMT business? Do you think they know? They don't. They don't. They're caught in the bureaucracy. Do you really think they're helping you build your business? You think they're helping you make money? Are you crazy? Let me tell you something. I got people who I'm working with right now, and I've seen it 1,000,001 times. Let's say they were approved for X number of trips at X number of dollars, and let's say they're owed $20,000 this month, whatever. And you know how many of these providers that at the end of the day they think they're making money, and they're barely making anything, because not only are their margins slimmer because these Medicaid brokers, but what happens is these brokers further squeeze them out on trips that were already approved. For example, let's say the trip was approved for a base pickup rate, X number of miles, and even a waiting fee. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time to get paid, well, we're not going to pay you for the wait fee. And then you have to fight, you have to go back through, you have to file a grievance, you have to fight to get that wait fee that was already approved. It was already approved, and now you're saying you're not gonna pay me. So then you gotta waste the time and labor. You waste the time, or you pay someone, and you're paying for the labor, for them to go through, and they have to file the grievance, they have to fight it to try to collect the money that was already approved. That's part of the game they play. Why? Because they care about their cash flow, not yours. And I see it every single day, and so many of y'all just eat it up. Yes, massa. Yes, massa. Y'all just take it. So many of you just take it because you lack creativity. You don't want to put in the time to build a legitimate business that you own. Where you use your own creativity, your own ideas to go out there and create your own relationship. Hey, I get it. So many people don't like rejection. That's why they won't put themselves out there. So many people don't like rejection because it's gonna damage their ego. Who cares, man? Curb your ego. Who cares? Again, I get it. Some of y'all are gonna send some hate mail on this, but guess what? I don't care. Majority of the hate mail I don't read. A, B, and if I do, I don't care. My ego can take it. In fact, the rejections are freaking good. Because you know what, it's a good punch in the mouth that many of you need, because all you want to do is go after the low-hanging fruit, path of least resistance. I'll just take what they give me, versus being creative, having different relationships with different facilities. If you got a broker business, using different creative ideas to go after different forms of business. People don't want to do work. I get that. And so again, I had my epiphany because after wasting 45 minutes plus or minus a few on that stupid call before I hung up, and then later on having a private conversation with them, multiple emails to get this hammered out, and UP, they actually wanted the UMTPG, they wanted us to do a single bid and then we do all the work. Man, I'm like, how did any of this sneak up on you after all these months, and now here it all boils over and somehow you got caught off guard with this? Craziness. But I could go on and on about the nonsense of all that. To focus on UP for a second, look, I'm not down on UP. I think it's still a great opportunity. Some of our larger member providers, by all means, we can go after that work here in a couple weeks. Hopefully they're going to identify who and where they need to increase their capacity, and some of you guys will be able to serve as a subcontractor for their primes. If that works out, that's great. Again, so I'm not down on it. It was a total debacle. I wasted a lot of time, but as I always told my staff, always, nobody stresses until I stress. And I don't stress because ultimately, I don't care. Ultimately, I don't care. We're going to be all right regardless. We're going to be making money regardless. We're going to be building relationships regardless. It's like anything. Think about people in your business, that people who've crossed your path, friends even. You know, it's like not everyone who was your friend when you were, a young kid is a friend today. Same thing in business. Not everyone who's an associate today is going to be an associate tomorrow. Who cares? There's always going to be more. God's always going to open up new doors of opportunity. It's awesome. So here's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is you need to open up your mind and open up the willingness to be creative. If there's one thing, and I want you to, for those of you who I'm going to meet with in Atlanta in October, you better make sure you ask me 1,000,001 questions surrounding creative ideas for building your business, because especially after dealing with UP yesterday, dealing with Logisticare, MTM, all these brokers every day with all these client providers I work with, people lack creativity because creativity requires work. They don't want to work. And look, it's not like you're out there digging the ditch, man, but it just amazes me of how many people just don't want to work to actually build their business their way so they own their business. And yes, and here's another thing. So many people think that like the only form of transportation is the Medicaid or the broker work, one and the same. Everyone thinks that, NEMT is just medical transport, it's just the Medicaid. No, it's not. How many people out there need wheelchair assistance or are on a stretcher that aren't on Medicaid? I mean, really? Not everyone is on Medicaid. I'm sorry to break it to you, but not everyone is on Medicaid. And then there's some facilities, maybe they are heavy Medicaid, they are still willing to pay for certain types of transportation because guess what? They know that their local transportation provider, SUCKS, I spelled it again. I didn't even cuss. So trust me, I see unique experiences everywhere. But here's another classic example. Think about this. Not every community is the same. Not every state is the same. I can promise you that. Not every state is the same, especially when it comes to NEMT. Not every state is the same. So many states have been deregulated. It's at the county level. Some counties do something. Some counties do absolutely nothing. So now things are different at the county level. Some cities have local ordinances. Some have nothing. It's amazing how things are changed everywhere. What makes you think that, especially if you operate over multiple counties, multiple cities, with multiple facilities, what makes you think that your business should be a one-size-fits-all for everyone that you interact with? It's insane. So if you're going to have these different relationships and you're going to communicate differently with them, you're going to market differently to them. Guess what? Takes creativity. But then there's other people who just default to, yes, massa. Yes, massa. Whatever you say, Logisticare. Yes, massa. Whatever you say, MTM. They just default to the broker work. Give me some of that low-hanging fruit. And you become a sharecropper for them. If that's your gig, trust me, I get it. If that's your gig, there's a reason why you definitely don't want to retain my services. You do not want me helping you if that's your mentality. You do not want me to help you to save your money. There's a reason why you don't want to be a member of the UMTPG, because we're not wasting time with that. I apologize. Save up your money, get flights, fly to Orlando or San Diego or Vegas or wherever they got these conventions and go slap the backs. Hey, seriously, go to those conventions because you can meet reps from Logisticare and Uber and Lyft and MTN and all these other, and everything. Go shake the hands of them so you can become part of the institution. Now, I know there's probably just a few of you left still watching this video because I've offended you. Maybe I didn't swear, so maybe my spelling offended you. Maybe the message was too harsh. I know. Everyone's supposed to get a trophy. Whether you finished first or 12th, everyone should have a trophy. I get that. Sorry, man, I'm not giving them out. I'm not giving out trophies to everybody. So I know there's a lot of snowflakes watching this. If you're still watching it, I gotta give you credit, man, because maybe you're starting to get a little spine going here, my little snowflakes. But for those of you who I end up seeing in Atlanta, you make sure that you ask me questions about marketing and creativity, because everything is going to be based upon you building your business your way versus being a sharecropper or dealing with all this nonsense. You don't want friction. You do not want friction between you and your customer. You want your customer to be able to access you as easily as possible. You're dealing with a broker, or maybe even if it was UP, and I don't know yet because we don't have a formal contract with them or anything. So I don't know all the processes yet, but especially like when you're dealing with these brokers and they make you jump through all these hoops, and they own the customer. So you don't own the customer. You may interact with the customer, but your actual customer is actually Logisticare or MTM. You don't have the customer. You want to build a business where you are in direct connection, direct relationship with your customer. You don't want friction. You want easy access. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of you guys, you keep going after all this low-hanging fruit. That low-hanging fruit is going to continue to be shaken because technology is changing so much. And this is another thing we need to talk about in Atlanta. Technology is changing the entire landscape, the entire organization so much. And guess what? As those things continue to shake out and you're just, yes, massa, you lack creativity, you don't want to work, you don't want to go off and build your business your way, guess what? As everything changes, you're a victim. You're a victim. You are going to be a victim, caught up in the cog, caught up in the chain. That as they change, guess what? You better react to it. You're reactionary. You are on the defensive. As you serve as a sharecropper, yes, massa, whatever you say, Logisticare, whatever you say, MTM, as you say, all you are is reactionary. You are in a defensive mode. Those of you who wait for the last minute to contact us, hey, well, what's the benefit of joining the UMTPG? Delete, gone. We don't waste our time. Reactionary. You're reactionary mode. I want offense. Now, I know that requires a spine. You can't be a snowflake. You may not get a trophy. You may have to listen to me spell sometimes. Notice I'm not cussing. Trying to be a better Christian, trying to be a better man. I get all that. So if you want to partner with us, you better be willing to invest in work. You better be willing to think outside the box. You better be willing to be creative. You better be willing to be on the offensive, because when you're on the offensive, I'm going to see you at the top.